Welcome to the Upshot USDGC and Throw Pink Preview Edition. I'm Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me, Josh Mansfield, on this Tuesday, October 8th. We are 2 days away from the start of our tournaments in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Josh, it is always, this is the number 2 major of the year, right?
Yep.
USDGC for the men, it is just behind Worlds. For some players, I think it's even maybe ahead of Worlds because of the kind of the aura of Winthrop Arena and the spectators. This is truly it's a world-class disc golf event.
Yep.
It's probably the best one in the U.S. every year.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, it just has things that both in the aura, but also, the fact you have to qualify for it. There's a Monday qualifier. You've got lots of things that kind of go into it that really do a good job of celebrating those previous winners. There's some continuity between it. And that history plays a big role in elevating it to the position it's at today. And without a doubt, I think the second best major and most important major in our sport.
For the women, it's, something between an A tier and a major. I don't know really what to tell you. It feels like a major for all intents and purposes. It basically is a major. You have to qualify. It's the best players. They are often playing at some of the best disc golf of the season. It matters a lot if you win, but it doesn't count with an M next to your name. They got to fix this. It's a matter of when.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of when. Yep. At some point, this will change. It has to. The cognitive dissonance is too weird right now.
All right, Charlie, I have a suggestion.
I'm ready.
We leak an article from an anonymous source, that anonymous source being completely made up, that Throw Pink is going to be added as a 5th major next season, and then watch the outrage when the PDGA tries to walk it back. They have to. They'll have to make it a 5th major.
It was interesting. I was looking at the 2025 majors list again because, of course, that came out. And I went back to the article because I was like, I heard a rumor that the Throw Pink was going to become a major, or that they were going to host
PGA minutes. Remember?
Well, that was from a while ago. But then recently, I heard a rumor that it's happening soon.
Oh,
that maybe it's happening next year.
Okay.
That they're going to run the U.S. Championship at Rock Hill. But I was like, but wait, they already announced the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship for 2025 in Wisconsin. And I went and I checked, and that is indeed the case.
Okay.
And, blah, 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 exciting, on and off the course activities planned for the hundreds of women disc golfers who will head to Wisconsin. It doesn't really say anything specifically that they're going to have FPO at that tournament. So I do not have an inside track on this, but I do think it is possible that we're going to see U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship become everything but FPO, and FPO is going to move to Rock Hill. Would that be wrong? No, I really don't think that it would. It just feels like an inevitability that it's going to happen in some way or shape or form, whether that means 5 majors or it means that they just permanently move it to Rock Hill.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that I think could be interesting is if you did do the women's disc golf championship or U.S. women or whatever that is in the event that it's not a major, take the top pros, get some sort of appearance fee, right? Get money for them to incentivize them to come, and then have them caddy for the top FA1 players. You could still make this an incredible weekend, and there's a way
100%.
that with coordination with the DGPT, you could facilitate those the FPO still wanting to come. And if it really is that important to many of the FPO players, I think giving them incentives to do so, they would still go. And still make it a special experience, but it's time.
And maybe not all of the women go, but the companies who have the top FPO players say,
sure,
hey, we want you to go. We want you to sell discs. We want you to be there as a representative of our brand. We want you to go hang out and do a showcase event and da-da-da-da-da.
Yes. Love it.
Well, we'll see. All right. We got a bunch to get to today. Quickly, Monday qualifying just took place. 2 FPO players, 5 MPO players getting through. Josh, who made it?
Well, Charlie, first and foremost, most exciting, congratulations to the Shoes, who win in both divisions. Pretty incredible story over there. Grady and Paige Shoe both get the win. And Grady in spectacular fashion with an 11 down.
11 down? Okay, Grady. Just do that 4 more times and you're going to walk home with some hardware.
You know, man,
it's easy.
It's so easy, right? Thanks, Charlie. The other qualifiers on the MPO side, Drew Gibson, Dan Hastings, Andrew Miranda, and John Blackburn. And then over on the FPO side, Sandy Hendel beats out the names like Erica Stinchcombe and Macy Vela Diaz in order to lock up the second spot for Throw Pinks.
All right.
Yeah.
A little legend, Sandy. Nice work. It's got to feel good to get in on Monday qualifying.
Yeah.
This is like, man. And get your spot in the tournament. So, Today is also ratings update day. Headline, Gannon Burr gets to 1057 rated. That moves him, he's up 4 spots to that number. No surprise considering the level of play we've seen from him over the last 6 weeks. Paul Macbeth hit 1057 in 2019 to get to an all-time high. That was, at the time, an all-time high. And exactly 5 years ago today, he cracked 1060 before hitting 1061 in March 2020, which stands as the high watermark all-time for ratings. So Gannon is now the second highest rated player ever at 1057, only behind Macbeth. Josh, is he going to take down that record and become the highest rated player ever?
Yes, I really think he will.
When?
Yeah, see, there's the hard part. I mean, listen, picking a young kid in a like a system that we know has ratings inflation is probably not the hottest take in the world. I obviously would love to go look at like past rounds. I didn't do that and see, what's going to drop off. But my prediction would probably be like near the end of next year. I think he needs another season. The higher you get, the harder it is to scrape those points. So I predict end of next year.
I don't think it's unreasonable to consider next year. I mean, we would have to dig deeper into the math to kind of get a feel for like when it could happen. But obviously, if he keeps playing at the level he's been at, he will easily get to that number.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. But he was not the only one who hit an all-time high in ratings. Here is your 1040 club. Actually, no. I want you to guess, Josh, who is in the 1040 club right now.
Okay.
There are 9 names. Obviously, one of them is Gannon. Can you name the others? As you name them, I'll give you your rating and what they did this
season. And this is above 1040. So
1040 and up.
Ricky should be in the 1050 club still, right?
He is in the 1050 club. He's at 1052. Okay. He stayed the same as last time around.
Okay, great. Those
are the only 2 guys in the 1050 club for what's worth.
Okay. Well, guy who used to be in the 1050 club, I doubt he's fallen that far, would probably be Calvin Heimberg.
Correct, 1044. He's down 3 points to that number.
Okay. I don't think Chris Dickerson's left the 1040s for a while.
He is still there, 1045, up 1 from September.
Okay. Nicholas Antala?
Yep. He dropped 2 points to 1041.
Okay, all right. He dances on the bubble. Isaac Robinson.
Yes. He hit an all-time high of 1046, up 1 point. And so a little Worlds win and an all-time high in ratings. Nice year going for Isaac.
How many do I have right now?
That puts you at 6. There are 3 left.
3 left. Is Macbeth 1040 right now?
He sure is.
Okay.
He's 1041. Okay. He was at 1040. He ticked up 1 point.
Okay. All right.
One of these you can for sure guess because you just love to pick this guy.
Oh, it's Ezra Robinson. That's right.
He is at 1043. He stays the same as last time. Now, this is the hardest one for sure.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. This player was 1024 rated to begin 2024, and he has now hit an all-time high in his career of 1040 in this update. Can you name the player?
Is it Joey Buckets?
I love the guess, but it is not. Evan Smith.
Wow.
Evan Smith, 1040 rated, up
That's
16
incredible.
Points in this season. And it really is. And I know that, like, we're not really the only ones to make this joke. I've seen it around the internet. I've seen it in our Discord, like Evan Smith, Evan Scott, Aiden Scott. I don't know who these guys are. I think we got to stop doing that because Evan Smith is now needs
Deserves
some serious respect.
Yeah.
He is in the top 10 rated players on Earth. And he just came off of 3rd place GMC, 4th place D-Glow. He was in the top 25 at Worlds and MVP. He's barely been outside the top 20 the whole season.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a couple bad tournaments at the beginning of the year, which maybe is why we don't feel like we've been talking about him that much. He was in the 40s and the 30s a lot at the beginning of the season, but since Preserve, he has not missed the top 20 except at Worlds where he was 21st. So he has been really playing well. So shout out to Evan Smith.
Okay, so
not Evan Scott.
Not Evan Scott. So here's the problem. Okay. Here we go. So I just pulled up Evan Scott's PDGA.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie. If you put Evan Scott and Evan Smith in a lineup, I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference between them. If you're like, which one is Evan Smith? I don't know if I'd be right. Evan Scott, though, has done us the great favor of like growing out his hair and a beard now. And so he's his profile picture is like just like very difficult to distinguish, but now he's like growing the look that is a little more him, and I'm gonna be okay now. So I could now pick Evan Smith out of a lineup.
I'm sorry, Evan Scott, you have to change your name.
Great. Yep.
You can be Evan Zicott. You can be Evan Beacott.
Or
you can be Bevan Scott.
You could be Scott Evans. That's
all right. FPO side, Kristen is still your highest rated player in the world. She actually moved up 3 points to 998.
All right, before we move on here, I want to hit some facts for you, Charlie, because when we were pulling this up, you made the comment, you're like, "Oh man, Kristen must have sunk." And she actually jumped 3 points. Yeah, she jumped 3 points. And then you're like, well, rounds must have dropped off that or something, which may be true. But I want to give you some numbers that I think are going to surprise you.
Okay.
In the month of September, Kristen played 12 rounds of disc golf. They were evenly split between rounds above 1,000 rated and rounds below 1,000 rated. So she still had half of her rounds above 1,000 rated.
Okay.
But perhaps even more impressive, she shot more rounds rated above 1010 than were rated below 990. So 4 of her rounds were above 1010, 3 of those were above 1020, and 3 rounds were only below 990. By rating, she didn't have a terrible September.
No, she did not. But I think the issue is that she's been playing more stinker rounds than she ever has before.
Well, and she manages to put one stinker round per
rated
weekend.
Rounds in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So like maybe that's my impression is being clouded by the fact that she's not necessarily winning and she's having these rounds that are really not very good, but you're not wrong. Like she's still playing some awesome rounds.
Yeah.
And she's got certainly a great chance to win this weekend. All right, back to the list. Holland Handley moves up to 988. That is a career high. She's up 1 point to that number. That's tied with Owen Scoggins, who also moved up 1 point for second highest rated player in the world. Missy Gannon up 4 points to 984, career high.
Good for Missy.
Tied with Evelina, who dropped 3 points. Haley King down 4 to 976, tied with Hannah Blomroos, who moved up 3 points to that number. Ella Hansen up 4 points to 973, career high. And Silva Sarnen up 1 point to 973 as well. And that is also a career high. That is your 970 and up club.
Look, it is just too bad. Like 5 years ago, Ella Hansen would be a top player, like one of the top players in FPO. But the problem right now is there's like 3 other players who have almost identical profiles to her of throws well, isn't great at putting, and kind of collapses under pressure. And they all throw a little bit better than she does.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty interested to see if Ella can, if the average level is rising like this, we're going to see her start to win a little bit more, I think.
I hope so.
All right. So that is your ratings update. Coming up right now, we've got an interview with Jonathan Poole. I will note, this was recorded on Thursday of last week. So a couple of things are probably a little bit out of date, particularly around the course status, because they have been doing lots of cleanup work. We'll talk about that. It looks like the course is going to be basically in perfect playing condition. Maybe I shouldn't say perfect, but no holes are going to be dramatically altered due to the heavy rainfall and the hurricane damage. So keep that in mind with this interview. Jonathan Poole is the event director at the USDGC and has been running this event for a long time. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, JP joins me for an interview, and then Josh and I will reunite to get you ready for the USDGC and Throw Pink with a very fun preview segment. We'll be back. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Brand new ambassador packs just dropped. Casey White, Joel Freeman, and Ella Hansen signature bags available now. Some very cool colorways in those, so check those out. And also, brand new solid black blackout Octothorpes and a solid Cryptek Typhon with red zipper Octothorpes. Check those out. They look fantastic if you're looking for something in the blackout color scheme. And you can also go Joel Freeman route with a little pink trim. So check it all out, pounddiscgolf.com. Grab yourself a bag today. The aches and pains of age can creep up on you quickly. That doesn't mean you have to suffer in silence. Our sponsor, Sunset Lake CBD, has just what you need to soothe your aching joints and calm down those sore spots. As hemp farmers, the folks at Sunset Lake know what it means to be sore after a long day in the fields. That's why they make their products with top shelf ingredients, including CBD they grow themselves. From salves and rubs to gummies and tinctures, Sunset Lake CBD has everything you need to find relief at the end of your day. I use the Sunset Lake Balm. Just great. Like, it's a nice lotion on its own, but the extra CBD boost really helps those muscles feel better. It can help you get to sleep better without taking painkillers. So highly recommend. Sunset Lake CBD is offering our listeners 20% off all orders. Go to sunsetlakecbd.com and use code UPSHOT at checkout. Sunset Lake CBD, farmer-owned, Vermont-grown. Joining us now on the Upshot is the USDGC Event Director Jonathan Poole. Jonathan, great to have you back. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. I think we have to begin with a little bit of an unfortunate note, which is that the hurricane that came through North Carolina has done a ton of damage in the state, and I've seen some pictures on Instagram of damage to the property at USDGC and the lake being really, really high right now. What's the current status of the course and kind of your projections on, are you going to have to make alterations for the event starting next week?
Well, given the devastation around us, all around us, we've been very, very fortunate by comparison. We're working long days here, have been all week to get things into the conditions that people expect. I think we're close. We've been pumping the lake all week. I mean, holes like 17 green, 18 tee, about half of fives fairway, 5 green, 6 tee, 6 green, all completely underwater at one point. The water has receded to the point where the only one I'm a little concerned about is possibly the beach hole. That's 6 green, where you literally play not just to the water's edge, but almost kind of down in it. That was still underwater yesterday. But the conditions are great here. I mean, it's sunny, it's dry, the forecast is perfect, and the water level continues to go down. So hopefully we're going to be all right. There were a number of down trees and limbs and, lots of debris. It's quite a task to get Winthrop into the conditions that everyone expects. And we just had a little extra work this year, but the disc golf community always rises to the occasion. Everyone has been rallying for, the better part of 2 weeks now, and I think we're back on track.
You know, of course, this event is taking place in South Carolina. A lot of talk, at least nationally, has been about Asheville and what's going on in the western half of North Carolina. Obviously, it's just a terrible situation over there. I know that that's not really where USDGC is, but are there any efforts being made to maybe try to help out with what's going on in Asheville from the tournament or like disc sales or anything like that?
Yeah, there are several things planned that really will not kick in until next week once everybody gets here. But I've heard of several different things at least. And we're just getting to the stage where people are getting here, they're getting settled. These conversations are taking place. I mean, a number of the different sponsors and fundraising discs and whatnot. And we're still looking to see what kind of relief we might be able to provide financially. It's just a lot of challenges in times like this that are unexpected. We've had power issues, we've had generators, ice. I mean, it's all of the things that are really in need. And it's not just Asheville. I mean, it literally is all around us. So just a lot of different challenges, and so fluid here on the decision making. Some changes to the budget, obviously, but we want to do everything that we can. I think. Just by simply being able to have this event, I mean, this is a giant family reunion for the disc golf community of sorts. And there are disc golf communities all around us where they've lost their courses. They've lost, their families have been impacted. It's just every day is another set of stories that you hear that are just heartbreaking. So the fact that we can bring everybody together and hopefully give some relief and some hope and some encouragement, I think that's a contribution in itself.
So, of course, always a topic of conversation coming into USDGC, course changes. It is the always heavily discussed course, maybe the most of the year. I just did a scroll through the caddy book. I didn't see anything that looked dramatically different from what we had last year, but can you tell us about what changes we should expect here in 2024?
The only somewhat significant change is we've just repositioned the tee of hole 3. The fairway is the same, the green is the same, minus a few lelands around the green. That was where we lost a few trees. But this move puts the tee on the other side of the road from where it was, which gives us a little more breathing room for fans and things around 18 green. It also is a little better for fans. The good thing about Winthrop, fans can kind of stick to College Lake Road that goes, around all the way around the lake, and it affords you a lot of good views of multiple holes often at a time. And so, fans can stay on the road and be right there by the tee, and see that hole a little bit better. And the only other one really is just still kind of pending is the beach hole. There is a possibility where that pin is up off the beach. We just don't know that yet. But otherwise, the course, I think, is going to play and look and feel very similar to what it has in recent years.
So I assume if you have to move the pin on 6 up onto the land off the beach, you'd move the drop zone somewhere else as well?
Yeah, it's in position where it normally would be. If it comes up that far to where it's all the way on land, so to speak, we'd need to back that. We need to back that up a little bit. But we're going to get a good test over the weekend. The work continues. USDGC doubles begins tomorrow and goes through the weekend. We've got Monday qualifying, then we still have 2 full days of practice on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So I'm optimistic that it's going to be everything's going to be the way that it was, other than that change to 3T.
Well, I know that there's been a lot of effort put into Vendor Village and the amenities for spectators over the last couple of seasons. Are there any new plans for this year or changes to expect sort of on the, I guess I'll call it the peripherals of the tournament?
Well, Championship Village has definitely grown. This has been one of the most exciting parts of the USDGC experience in the past few years. We have repositioned the fan hospitality pavilion that used to sit right behind hole 7T, which is the bamboo. It sits over to the side of the stage. We do live music every night. There's a big video screen where fans can congregate and watch the live broadcast. But inside this fan pavilion now, there is another smaller stage where you'll have additional screens to watch the broadcast. So during each of the broadcasts each day, there will be sort of a watch along party with other commentators, people that can come on stage and think Manning cast on a Monday Night Football. It's not part of the live broadcast, but we can bring in special guests and just have them talk casually about what's going on and just have some more interaction and entertainment with fans. And then when the live broadcasts are not going, we've got training seminars and just educational type things and sponsors that have basically different appearances at the top of the hour. Again, just to give fans some instruction and additional entertainment. So really excited about that. The footprint of Championship Village is almost doubled from last year, believe it or not. But
wow.
one of the main reasons is the spectator course was awesome. It got a lot of play, but the vendors were already kind of encroaching on that area. So now, if you're familiar with the area, and there are maps on the homepage at USDGC.com that show this, but the 9-hole spectator course in the village will go out and around this intramural field that's right there sort of at the base of the village. And where that course was last year, there will be a 12-hole putting course where we'll run the United States Putting Championship every day. So that gives us room to take that side event to another level. The other exciting addition, we've partnered with the One Wheel community, which if you're not familiar is it looks like it's a big tire. It's kind of like a skateboard with a tire. It's one wheel instead of four. A lot of crossover between the disc golf community and the One Wheel community. And so they will be set up out on that intramural field and be doing one wheel demos and activities and, a lot of fun. It's a fun group, kind of like we are. So they're going to be out and kind of take over that field. We've got more, we've got a bouncy house and cornhole and mini golf and all kinds of other things for fans. And, a lot more families are coming out these days. So we're adjusting the activities to be even more family friendly than they have been in the past.
How are ticket sales looking this year?
Good. They've been down a little bit through the year. I think the economy obviously has a lot to do with that. I think having a very successful World Championships just 4 hours up the road has impacted a little bit, at least initially. It was exciting to have Worlds come, so close. And I know a lot of fans took the opportunity to do that. So that ticket buying decision would have needed to come obviously a little earlier in the year. So I've kind of been hopeful and optimistic that we would see, a spike in ticket sales post Worlds, which has been common throughout the years, wherever it's located. All eyes generally turn our way after Worlds. But ticket sales and merchandise sales right now seem to be pretty strong. So I don't think there's going to be any real noticeable difference either way. Like just because of all the impact and the situation around us right now, I don't think you're going to see a significant increase or decrease. I think we're on pace to be right around where we were. That could obviously change. We're promoting really heavily the music lineup. These aren't just local kind of mediocre bands. We really go big on the entertainment side. Locally, we promote that locals are free after 5. Between the live music, the more than a dozen food trucks, that's a pretty stout little food truck festival that's built into Championship Village. The big idea here is that you have a reason to come out. We give not just disc golfers, but we give the community and surrounding communities plenty of reasons to come out. And we do get them out, they have a chance to see who we are and what we do, and kind of feel the energy and the good feels that are in the village all week long. So it's just another way not only to add value to ticket holders, but also to attract new people who might also fall in love with disc golf.
So I saw in the PDGA board minutes a few months ago, I don't remember exactly when, discussion about the Throw Pink Women's Championship and kind of how this is a little bit of a weird spot because it's just an A tier, but it's being run concurrently with one of the most high-profile majors for MPO, and maybe like what's going to happen there in the future. I heard somebody tell me, essentially just a rumor, maybe a week or two ago, that Throw Pink might be considered for a U.S. women's slot in the future, but the schedule, according to the PDGA, is that it's going to be in Wisconsin for 2025. So are there plans for 2026 or 2027 perhaps for Throw Pink to host the U.S. Women's as a major? Or are there other things that we should know about the future of this FPO tournament alongside USDGC?
There are no firm plans. I mean, but we've expressed, certainly a willingness and a desire to do what collectively everyone feels is best for women's disc golf. It's been a popular conversation for years that I think really kind of came back to the forefront in 2020 when U.S. Women's was obviously canceled due to the pandemic early that year. We ran the Women's National Championship, which was the only major for ladies that year. And, that kind of paved the way to Throw Pink. And so we were able to revisit with a lot of the newer fans the big question, why isn't there an FPO division at the USDGC? And, I think it's important to touch on that. The answer is really simple. We ran the Women's National Championship 2 years. It was in 99 and 2000. And then we ran the very first U.S. Women's Championship here. And everyone at the time believed that it would be best for the U.S. women's event to be separate from the USDGC. And it has been. I mean, it's grown into a wonderful event, and we have not wanted to do anything that would take away from that. And you couldn't just add an FPO division to the USDGC because then you would be crowning a second FPO U.S. champion. That would have been a problem. And something that a lot of people might not realize, when we built the USDGC initially, the idea was one division, one champion. We wanted to bring the top women in the world, the top masters, the top amateur players, it really was to be a true US Open and be a showcase of all of the different divisions. And so that was our roots. I mean, that's what we set out to build and did successfully build. And I think with the creation and the evolution of the Pro Tour and how that has impacted our qualifying process, it just, we've had to sort of evolve with the times. And so now it's put a little more light on the topic of, well, what do we do from here? We love having the women compete, but how can we do that? And so the Throw Pink Women's Championship was that thing. We're not really the ones to force the conversation. We're here. We'd love to be a part of the conversation, but it's a big decision on whether or not to remove the FPO division from the United States Women's Championship. I think there are a lot of the pro ladies that would be in favor of that. I think, in my opinion, in my experience in talking with a lot of ladies, many of the other divisions would probably be disappointed. And so I think that's a decision for the Pro Tour and the network and the PDJ and our team and the ladies themselves to sort of figure out what is the best thing to do. So, we're prepared to run whatever makes sense. But we certainly wouldn't want to do anything to diminish what is already a fabulous event for the ladies that they look forward to every year.
Well, it will be interesting to see what happens there. It is right now, Throw Pink being major adjacent, as sometimes it's put on DGN, is a bit of an odd scenario, but it's an incredible tournament. It is. I think last year Throw Pink was probably the pinnacle of the whole year in terms of the quality of play, exciting finish, the playoff, the whole thing. I think it speaks to the course. A lot of people get on this course for being gimmicky, mini golf. You've heard it all. Why does this course seem to bring the most out of players, though? Because I do think we've seen so many iconic moments out here at Winthrop, even though you are using land that is kind of largely, around other sports facilities, right? It's not like this is a custom designed disc golf course, in the woods or something like that.
It's a very special place. Almost 30 years of disc golf. So, the area around the lake that has been a disc golf course, that's what it's been, for all these years. And, just the sheer number of major events and major preparation and having such a strong team, an experienced team, to make tweaks to the course along the way. And, it's usually sort of partly out of tradition, partly out of necessity. Some of the course setup and those tweaks really don't come until August, September. And so it creates this pattern of interest. Well, what are they going to do this year? They're like, there's an anticipation that people look forward to. So I think, and it's also been one of the most heavily covered events. Live streaming really began here, and all the photography, and just so many more people are familiar with this course and the story because this event has been at the same place every year, whereas the other majors, move around. But it's always been a very challenging, very fair, very spectator friendly, very interesting course, and there are. From the player standpoint, there just really are no shots where you can let your guard down. It's a really challenging track, and you always see the best of the best rise to the top. It's been difficult to really get a lot of separation. If you go back, there's been a lot of close finishes. A lot of events that really were either won or lost on the tee shot on hole 17 on the final day. And that's just, it's special. That's just kind of part of the Winthrop history and lore that makes it really unique.
So let's see. I guess my final question: are there any things that you're doing that you feel like are new or that you're pushing for this year? I know there's always something new going on. So what are the focuses for 2024 USDGC?
As always, to get the course in the best possible shape. The course is the star, as we were just discussing, but for me, the event side of it with, Championship Village and that village experience, continues to be, of growing importance because it's, when you set out to sell disc golf, and I've had to learn this hard reality over the years. I thought if we just kept working harder and found new creative ways and the purse got bigger and the athletes, and everything evolved, that would be enough. And at the end of the day, just to be honest with ourselves, it still is a niche sport. It means the world to us, but in the grand scheme of things here in the United States, there's a lot of competition for people's attention and their dollars. And, we love it, but it still can be a tough sell. Our reach is what it is. We've come a long way. The broadcast efforts, the media that surrounds this is incredible relative to where it was. I think we still have a long way to go. And if you're going to get fans to come out with their families, the experience has to be well-rounded and enjoyable for everybody in the family. And not everybody in your family is gonna play or love it the way that you do. Or maybe you've got, young kids that are still in strollers or elementary age or whatever. And this is a big course. This covers, this is a 300-acre property. So the course is spread out over not 300 acres, but, 80-ish. And so it's what I have seen is that the majority of people that come out to experience a disc golf tournament are going to consume it from a central location. They want to be where the energy is, and you can feel it as soon as you walk into the village. So to be able to have a situation where you can have a dozen or more food choices, and you can play, and there's multiple courses. It's one of the biggest. I mean, we've done fly marts over the years. We're looking at 50 plus vendors out here. So it's a disc golf mall. It's a marketplace. That's an attraction for people who play, whether you've been playing for a few weeks or 30 years. There's something to see and to buy, no matter where you are in your disc golf journey. But the music and the art and just the experience, we have to be able to tell that story better. And that was really the reason why we repositioned and kind of reimagined the Fan Hospitality Pavilion. It's not just a place to get a plate of food and sit down and watch the broadcast. I mean, it's a place to sit down comfortably and learn and be entertained, and to just have experiences that, kind of are, I hope, pleasantly surprising. And so, I want to give everybody in the surrounding community as many reasons as possible to come out, and no reason to leave. Like, once you're there and you're in the middle of it, I think you're going to like what you see. I think you're going to have lots of reasons to stay on into the evening. And, the value is certainly there. I want to make this point kind of to close, is that we've taken still a little bit of a different approach with our ticketing. We intentionally keep prices as low as we possibly can. And, we strive to way over deliver. So, I mean, if you're a fan of the golf, the value's there. If you're a fan of the music, the value's there. If you're a fan of both, it's really kind of double the value, and then just the sheer opportunity to be in a village full of vendors. It's, disc golf shopping nirvana from that standpoint. And that's also a tremendous value.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm looking forward to checking it all out. I get in Wednesday. So see you there, JP. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
You got it, Charlie. We'll see you soon.
All right. Jonathan Poole with us here on The Upshot. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Upshot, and thanks again to JP for stopping by. Really looking forward to heading down to Rock Hill. I leave tomorrow. And of course, we will have live daily rapid reacts following each of the rounds on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So make sure to get yourself an Ulti World Disc Golf subscription so you can hear all of those. Our round one show on Thursday, we will put out after it's recorded live as our main show in the podcast network. So you can get a little sneak preview. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be only available to Ulti World Disc Golf subscribers at discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. Come join the Discord, listen live. It's so much fun. All right, let's dive into some stuff. Josh, I think you want to take a little mail here first. What do you got?
Yeah, so we've got a thread over in our Discord, which you get access to as a subscriber, in addition to all the rapid reacts. Discord, best place to hang out, talk disc golf. We've got all the Statmando guys are hanging out as well, chatting, giving us some great info. So here's a question. Zero Bull asked the question of, if USDGC is talked about as the second most sought after win other than Worlds, which we talked about today, which tournament, Worlds or USDGC, has more one-off winners? Is Worlds more fluky? Because that's such a loaded word in our Discord, but he uses it in quotations. Is Worlds more fluky because of the varied courses, or does Winthrop produce more unique winners with the typically forehand-friendly course and hole 17? So then we get some info in here. Steve mentions that here are some of the winners of one of these events in the past 20 years with no other career MPO major wins. USDGC includes Klein, Sexton, Coling, and Brinster. Worlds includes Barsby, and just for kicks and giggles, PDGA Champions Cup includes Presnell, and European Open is Ellis. So USDGC has more winners who have never won another major than the other 3 majors that we currently have. Additionally, we then have the question, which Steve provides as well the answer to, about players who have won both versus those who have just won USDGC or just won Worlds. Winning both
like
Worlds.
a combination of like who's won both USDGC and Worlds versus just only one of them.
Correct. Only one of those.
Okay.
So winning both, Schultz, Feldberg, Conrad, Climo, Doss, Macbeth.
That's a nice list.
Man, oh man. Conrad in there is just incredible. Like that. That's a club.
What a run. What a run.
That is a club you want to be
Holy
a part
shot. I mean, come on.
So Charlie, my question here now. President's Cup style event. Peak players for the 2 sides. The World's winners or the USDGC winners. Which team would you take? And
Without knowing it off the top of my... Okay.
No, yeah, without knowing, and then I'm going to ask you if your answer's the same afterwards.
I'm going to say USDGC.
Okay. So, and imagine, we're again going to say peak players.
Imagine them at the best of their career. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Winning just USDGC. Dickerson, Burr, Coling, Klein, Sexton, LeCastro, Brinster, Schustrick.
Oh, that's a nice team. That's a very nice team, especially if you're thinking peak.
Yeah.
Like peak Schustrick is like one of the best players on ever.
Right?
Okay,
so
continue.
So there's 8 players there. Over on Worlds, we have 7 players. So it's pretty close. We have with Worlds, and this is winning just Worlds, only going back to 1999 when USDGC started.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense because they didn't
so
have an
maybe
option
some
before that. Yeah,
correct. Right. The winners here: Isaac Robinson.
I don't want to hear about the plumbers and farmers anyway. So
watch out.
Everyone in Europe is like, what is he talking about? Go ahead.
So someone's gonna throw an Innova arrow at you.
Ooh. Ouch.
Just back a couple 100 feet up and you should be good. Winning just Worlds: Isaac Robinson, Greg Barsby, Wysocki, McCabe, Jenkins, Todd, Russell.
I mean, a good list, but I don't even think it's a question.
I don't think so either. I think you made the right call.
Easy dub for the USDGC team.
You do have a couple nice, like, listen, you're right about Schustrick, right? Like that is a nice, and Burr is also Gannon.
I mean, you got Ricky,
but you got Ricky and Isaac on the other side.
Okay, question.
But, yeah.
When is peak Ricky? Is it his World's years or is it now?
Oh, I think it's his World's years. Yeah, I know you. I know that. You agree. I didn't think you were going to agree with me.
I just feel like he's been playing amazing this year and just like being out amazinged by Gannon.
I mean, correct, but he also spent most of his career being amazing, but being out amazing by Macbeth, except 2016,
the years that
2017. Exactly. So
fair point.
The years that he got good enough to out amazing the amazing guy. Big thanks to Steve. That lots of great info in there. That was lots of fun.
What I think is interesting is that Worlds, was different in the past, right? Worlds is a different tournament now.
Yeah, you mean the 9 round?
Yeah. And final nines.
Final nines.
Just like an absolute marathon, which just meant that you're the best player almost always won.
Yeah.
Like if you had a 9-round Worlds now, I mean, Isaac Robinson probably would still win, but like the odds of Gannon Burr winning would go up.
Right.
Because he's the best player and you get more chances to play.
Yep.
And now with 5 rounds on 2 courses that tend to be not necessarily tour staples all the time, I do think that there feels like there's a little bit more variance there than you're going to get at Winthrop. Winthrop is like, if you can putt and have a good week of like feeling good with your timing, like there's no reason that most players on tour can't shred.
Right.
Like Grady Shue just dropped an 11 down.
Correct.
And like Grady Shue's, he's a nice player, but he's not an amazing player. He had to go to Monday qualifying.
Yeah.
But he could shoot an 11 down because the course enables that if you're throwing well.
Yeah.
So Sorry if you hear my cat in the background chirping at birds out the window right now.
Oh, I hear my baby crying. So,
yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I really like this course because it challenges many facets of skills, and there's a lot of different ways to win, which is something that I want to dive into right now, kind of looking at a statistical history since, we have UDisc stats basically dating back to about 2018, and looking at kind of like how players won. So for taking USDGC first, Macbeth won by 3 strokes in 2018, and he did it in a kind of what I thought was going to be the basic manner, which is he led the field tee to green. He had an amazing 61% circle one regulation, and
Crazy.
like he putted fine. Like he wasn't the best, but he putted fine. But like he just dominated tee to green, and like generally that's the story.
Yep.
But it's not necessarily always the story at this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The very next year, James Conrad won his USDGC by a stroke, and he was fine tee to green. But really, the difference was that his putting was really good. He went 92 and 29. And that's what won him the title. Other players outdrove him, but they didn't putt as well as he did.
It's interesting because I think part of it is that some of these holes, the number one, distance is not a premium necessarily at USDGC. And then combine that with the fact that like so much of it is about placement that even if you get outdriven a little bit, you can be inside the circle and still not be set up for an ideal position on the green. Think about hole 18, for example, as a prime example. You can be inside of circle 1 on that green and not have a putt, or have a putt that you need to lay up. And so it's about placement just as much as it is about, and I think also of like hole 5 with the essentially island green. You can, if you're 40 feet back, you may have hit circle 2 in regulation, but you're probably not going to run that putt on day 1, 2, or 3.
Sure.
And so having more confidence in your putting allows you to take opportunities when maybe you aren't in position, but still are on the green. Whereas you may hit the green a lot, but if you're not putting it precisely where USDGC and Winthrop demands that you put it on the green, that is minimized, and your driving statistics can be minimized. And that's kind of my thoughts here when I look at James Conrad. And I think it's a story that we might see in a couple more years as well.
2020, Chris Dickerson wins it by a stroke. That was the year Calvin almost ran him down. Calvin had a really good chance to win that year.
He did.
But he shot 77% C1X. He missed 6 more circle 1 putts than Dickerson, and he lost by a stroke. And he had that brutal roll away on 17 into the water on the green. Who knows what happens if he makes that putt. But again, he missed the putt.
Yeah.
And he had the bad roll away, but he missed the putt. Yeah. And that was the big story that year. Dickerson had a very balanced performance. Good tee to green, good putting, didn't go OB a lot, steady.
Let me give you 2 more stats, and these both involve a Mr. Kyle Klein. 2021, Kyle does lose to Macbeth in the playoff, but what got Kyle there, Macbeth had the highest amount of birdies, but he also had some poor putting and took more bogeys. Kyle was kind of okay on the tee, but 91% C1X gets him into that playoff. Leapfrog up to 2023. Kyle Klein is the only player in the top 5 for strokes gained tee to green who had positive strokes gained on the putting green.
Yes, and that's an FPO story as well, which we'll get to in a second. In 2022, Gannon Burr wins it by a stroke. He and Nicholas played almost statistically dead even.
Yes.
Now we know what happened, right? I mean, we saw what happened to Nicholas down the stretch on 17.
Yep.
Gannon had a couple of eagles that padded his scorecard a little bit. Honestly, looking at it, it really felt like Nicholas played better. Yep. Like over the course of the week, he was a little bit better tee to green. But Gannon was able to pick up more strokes on the putting green, and that made the difference at the end of the day. And obviously it could have gone either way, and it really just did come down to the final couple of holes.
Right. Well, and factor in as well with, we mentioned the eagles. I don't think these statistics properly account for eagles. Like circle 1 in regulation, for example, you can't get extra circle 1 in regulation.
You should get an extra strokes gained, though.
You should. Yeah. Right. Correct. On strokes gained. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at raw percentages, you're not going to see that. That's true.
Yeah. Which is where Nicholas kind of outshined a little bit. But again, like that, the 2 eagles Gannon wins by
Yeah.
1, 2 eagles.
FPO has played here since 2020. When it was the Women's National Championship that year, it was a major. Paige Pierce won by 4 strokes over Katrina. And this was, peak Paige. Like,
Right.
Paige and Katrina were like miles in front of everybody else. Paige led tee to green. She was second in putting. She didn't take a lot of bogeys. I mean, this was like peak Paige performance.
Yeah.
I mean, she was fantastic. The next year, Missy Gannon won by a stroke over Kona Montgomery. And you won't be surprised to hear this. Putting was the major decider there. Kona outdrove Missy for sure, but Missy didn't go out of bounds.
Yep.
And she putted a lot better than Kona, and that was the difference. 2022, Katrina wins it by 3 strokes over Kristen. Like, it was the same story, putting and not going OB.
I know, crazy that like what won Katrina this tournament was putting better than Kristen.
Yeah, which is also true in 2023. Holland beat Kristen in a playoff. Holland out-putted Kristen by 2 strokes. Kristen won on the tee, off the tee by 2 strokes. But Kristen with a kind of dreadful 69% C1X putting performance that weekend. Of course, there's always a prerequisite of playing well tee to green to even be in these conversations. But the putting is often the difference maker when you're comparing players who are throwing well. And we've seen that for years. I mean, Henna and Evelina have both been among or literally at the top of tee to green performance at this tournament. And they're going to put on a show this week. I think we're going to see Henna and Evelina shredding. And the question will be, can they putt? I think if Evelina putts the way she's putted this season, she has a very good chance to win this tournament. I don't think Henna can putt well enough to win.
I think you're probably right. And we will get to our picks a little bit later, though. But you're spot on about the idea. Like, the one time that we've seen in this tournament where driving made the difference was back in 2018 when Macbeth shot a unreal, like, out of this world 61% circle one regulation.
Yeah, just sick. Like,
so the level that you have to throw in order to really win it on the tee pad, it's significant.
Yep. All right, let's get to our next segment here. We haven't done this in a while, Josh.
We haven't. This is so fun.
We're doing blind rankings. Josh and I have both selected some categories.
Yep. We're
going to give the other person who has not seen these the selections in the categories 5 options, and as the option is given, the player must select the rank in terms of number 5 to number 1. They can put it anywhere in there. And they're trying to establish a proper ranking to the best of their ability without knowing what's coming ahead of time.
We have separate documents so that we could not see each other's lists. We're ready to go. This is gonna be fun.
All right, let's start with. I want to save the who needs to win for the end.
Yeah, those are the end. So
why don't we start with the best holes at Winthrop?
Yep, here we go. Okay, the first.
Josh has given me the list, and I'm giving my rankings.
Yep, here we go. First hole on the list, hole 17.
Well, it's obviously fantastic. I'm trying to think, like, do I think there are holes on the course that I prefer to 17? I think there are.
And are you going to get them in this list?
That is the question. I'm going to put hole 17 at number 2 in my list. Obviously, it is the iconic danger hole in all of disc golf.
Yeah.
And we've seen so much heartache and, elation, because a lot of times if you make the island and you're in the lead, you pretty much win the tournament. And we've seen it many times. I remember Nate Sexton hitting the island and icing it. So yeah, I'm going to put it at number 2 though, because there are a couple holes in the course that I like a little bit more.
Okay. Hole 7. This is the triple Mando hole with the bamboo triple Mando.
Yeah, the clown's mouth.
No. That's hole 15.
What?
So,
I'm pretty sure they call hole 7 the clown's mouth.
I thought they call hole 15 clown's mouth.
All right, I'm googling clown's mouth USDGC, and we'll settle this right now. Clown's mouth, old school clown's mouth, triple Mando hole 7.
What is hole 15 called?
Well, I don't know.
'Cause
It's
hole
also
15
a triple Mando.
It's also a triple Mando. I thought that one was.
Maybe they both call it Clown's Mouth. I'm seeing evidence for both things being called Clown's
I think so
Mouth.
too. I want to hear comments from people. Let us know which one is it, because I could have swore it was 15.
Anyway, hole 7. Bamboo triple Mando.
Bamboo triple Mando. Yes.
You got to hit the gap. Okay. I like this hole because it's a very simple concept. And it's one of the best spectator holes in the course. They've now added that like VIP tent area kind of behind it that is the where the spectator stand is level with where the players tee off. It's all one surface. Very cool. That was a new addition last year. I'm going to put it at number 4. Number 4.
Okay.
It's a fine hole, but it's not my favorite.
Okay. Next up is hole 5. That's our big water carrier that's got the islandish green, real long hole. Longest hole. This is one that really does reward distance as a premium because you can get eagles.
It's a really, really good hole. It's one of the best par 5s. I'm going to put it at number 3.
Okay. The next one is hole 15, the actual Clown's Mouth. No, the other triple Mando hole.
Rats.
This is one dog leg left.
I love this hole. I can't put this at 5. I have to just cross my fingers that what you give me at the end is something I want to put at the bottom, because this one's too good. I just think this hole, it's hard. Hitting the tee shot well is important. It has a very interesting, tricky green. There's like
Ground
a lot
play
of
is
obstruction
critical.
in those trees, but it's still like there's gaps. There's been a lot of very exciting moments on this hole.
Yep.
I'm going to put it at number 1.
I don't think you're going to be happy, Charlie.
No,
I've got hole 18.
18. No.
It is going to be hole 18.
I should have known. Very sadly, I have to put it at number 5. It's.
Would you just shift everything down 1 and put 18 at 1?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Honestly, so when we got through hole 5, I was like, oh, okay, he's going to bite the bullet, put Clown's Mouth at 5.
I should have put
get
Clown's Mouth at 5.
18-1,
It was a big mistake.
Because I was like, okay, he's going to hold out for a hole 18. I thought you had it. I thought you nailed it.
I should have anticipated that you were going to give me 18. I should have.
Yeah.
I should have known.
Of course I'm going to put in there.
All right. How about top moments in USDGC history? Anthropink.
Ooh,
okay, I'm going to note that you could get either. Okay.
Okay.
So top moments all time in Rock Hill. First on the list, Paul Macbeth completes the Grand Slam in 2015 with the win. He had to beat out Das. He had to beat out Ricky late, and he swept the majors. Maybe the best year ever in disc golf, capped off by this win.
I think that one's number 1 for me. When I came into this and I was thinking about, because I knew the category, I was thinking about it, and I was like, the Macbeth Grand Slam is probably going to be my number 1. So I thought ahead. I committed to this. I'm going to trust my gut. I'm putting it at number 1.
All right. Holland tops Kristen in a playoff for her first tour win in 2023 after big drama on 18 when Holland's shot appeared. It was very borderline, but we could clearly tell on camera it never crossed inbounds, but her card gave her the spot up the fairway, and she ends up being able to end up going to the playoff. Had it been OB, I think that would have been it. Kristen would have won it in regulation. Yep. And so, Holland's first win over Kristen in controversial fashion. Yeah,
I think I put that in the 4. While it does have like some significance, the drama, it's blown away, right? I think we don't talk about it anymore as much. Like it's kind of disc golf has terrible recency bias. Guilty as charged, and that feels like water under the bridge. But at the time, it was pretty wild because Kristen was just playing so well. So I put that in the 4 spot.
All right. Next up, Johnny McRae takes a 9 on hole 17 in 2014. He came into the hole with a 4-shot lead. He missed the island 3 times. First went long, then he went short twice. He ended up going to a playoff with Will Schustrick where he lost.
This is like one of the defining hole 17 moments, if not the defining hole 17 moment. See, I have a moment that just is burned into my brain that I am reserving the 2 for, but I don't know if you're going to give it to me. I'm going to put this in the 3. I'm still holding out for my 2.
Okay, 2 left. Here we go. You have the 2 spot and the 5 spot left. Juliana Korver cashes in 2001, the only FPO player ever to cash at the USDGC. And we talked about it with Doss last week when he actually tied her score for last cash.
This is, I don't think people like realize, like Paige and Katrina have both played this event and not been able to cash. Kristen's played this event, not been able to cash. This is not what I had reserved the 2 for, but I'm moving it to the 2. This gets the 2. I really think like this is one of the legend-defining moments of Juliana Korver's career, who is one of the all-time greats of disc golf. So I give her the 2.
Are you going to feel even worse about your number 5 than I did about mine?
Maybe. What
Schultz
is it?
Climo playoff 2003 mega play, the best playoff in disc golf history.
I am gonna feel worse about it. You know what's funny?
I could be number 1.
It probably should be. That probably deserves the 2. I think I still put Macbeth's career Grand Slam over that.
Fair.
I should have. Yeah, dang it. I should have put Johnny McRae in the 5.
No, you should have put Holland over Kristen in the 5.
Yeah, you're right about that. You know what I was worried though? I was worried you were going to give me Nico's Albatross.
I did consider putting that in my list.
Yeah, see, and that I was like, in my head. So the 2 things when I came into this, I was like, okay, the Grand Slam goes 1. If you give me Macbeth's putt in 2021 over Kyle Klein, that goes in the playoff. That goes number 2.
Yeah,
and then Nico's Albatross goes 5. That was my mental prep. But
all right, here we go. We got 3 more categories.
Okay, I've got one for you. Surprising winners. We're gonna start off number 1 with Big Germ 2016. This is the year that it was shortened by the hurricane.
Number 5.
Okay.
I because it was shortened by the hurricane.
Because it was shortened.
It kind of just, it's like when Colton Montgomery won Waco.
Sure.
You're like, I mean, okay, cool, but and I'm not saying Germ wouldn't have won if they'd played a full tournament.
They
may well
4,
have. He was playing really well.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely the least surprising for me.
All right, deal. Okay. James Conrad 2019.
I'm trying to think of all the other potential surprising winners. I think I put him at number 1.
You might.
Reason being, everybody talked about this being a forehand critical course. You have to have a forehand to win this tournament. And then James Conrad won it with 0 forehand.
Yep.
I mean, before James Conrad won it, I don't think people really believed it was possible for like a backhand only player to win this tournament.
After the past like 5 years. Yeah.
So I'm going to put him at number 1.
Okay. Nate Sexton 2017. This comes right after the Big Germ year.
I'm going to say number 3. I'm going to say number 3. It was surprising only because Nate, had not had a lot of major success. He was a really, really good player. And if there was going to be a course where you thought Nate could win, it would be here.
This is it.
And he did it.
Okay. Dickerson 2020.
Number 4. I don't really have much to add.
Yeah.
Elite player.
Last
had a
one.
Good year.
Macbeth in 2021 in the 2 spot. I don't hate it. It's probably a little high.
It's a little high. But I should probably have him at 3 and then Sexton at 2, but I don't hate it. It was surprising.
It was. If
he wins this year, does he go to number 1?
I don't know if it's still more surprising than James. I think it just switches for Macbeth's 2021 win.
Yeah.
Good list. Well done.
All right.
You did that one well.
Time to get on to our who needs this win the most category. I'm giving Josh MPO names. Who needs this USDGC win the most here in 2024? First name on the list, Calvin Heimberg. Still doesn't have a major win, Josh. He's having a solid season.
Yeah.
But he is desperate for a major win. How much does he need this one?
He's got to be number one. He needs a major. He needs to get out of the shed. So, yeah, Calvin gets the one spot.
Number one. Wow.
Yeah, number one.
Okay.
I know who my number 2 is going to be. You better give him to me or I'm going to be mad.
All right. Next name, Isaac Robinson. 2-time
5.
world champion, but has not won a lot of other majors. He's got the Champions Cup win. Doesn't
Agreed.
have USDGC. I think still people maybe still feel like he's a little fluky as a Worlds winner.
Possibly. But like he's going into a contract year with everything that he already needs. He's well established. He's got 3 majors now to his name. And like the only reason I would consider moving him higher is to go for a career Grand Slam. To get all 4 of them. And so this one is important, but given that he still needs European Open as well, if he already had European Open, I may elevate him higher. But because he still needs both of them, I put him in the 5.
Okay. Next on the list, Ricky Wysocki.
2. I
should have given that to you later. Damn.
I was back and forth between Calvin and Ricky, 1 and 2, but I those were it. Like that is
Rick in a serious drought.
A serious drought, like legacy shaping drought right now. He needs to get another win.
All right. Next on the list, Gannon Burr.
4. Gannon's already got the major this year. He's won USDGC in the past, and he is on the verge of a historic season. But I think that he needed an MVP win to really create the pressure of wanting to win this one. He could still put together just an incredible season. All-time best season is out the window, and so I think the pressure goes down.
And finally, I give you Paul Macbeth.
Yeah, I was like Calvin. I think here's the thing.
Let me just say, if Paul Macbeth doesn't win this, it means he's gone a year without winning.
And you're right.
Regular season, major, or any tournament. And
You're
first
right.
time in like whatever it is, 13 years or something.
Yep, you are correct. But I say to you instead, it had to happen eventually. And if it's this year, then it's this year. And Macbeth, unlike the other 2 guys ahead of him, that like legacy is not riding on every major that comes around, right? It may decide for us when when the Macbeth era closes, and the end of this year may make us realize that we've been reading the final chapter of the Macbeth book. That's still yet to be seen, but the legacy of the guys ahead of him are dependent on getting another major. So I think they would have to be elevated. I'm pretty happy with my list.
I think your list ended up great. I think I should have given it to you in a slightly harder order.
I think you're right.
Okay. You're up. You're giving me who needs to win for FPO.
Yep. At the top, Evelina Salonen.
Number 3. I'm playing it a little safe by putting her in the middle. I think if she wins this, she wins Player of the Year, and that's like some real pressure.
Yep.
Like I think it locks it up, regardless of what happens at the Pro Tour Championship. I think there's a few players for whom that may be the case. But Evelina is having a great year, even though this isn't technically a major. I think it would really cement her as like very clearly the best player in 2024. She won the big tournaments when they kept coming around. She kept winning the big tournaments, right? Yep. So Kristen has more wins, sure, but Evelina won the big ones, including Worlds, Anthro Pink, multiple majors. So it's big, but not maybe like critical.
Yeah. Yep. Kristen.
Number 2.
Okay.
I think there's a case to be made for her basically any spot on this list. But I'm going to say number 2, and here's why. I think that this is a revenge tournament. Remember when she lost Champions Cup to Paige and then came back the next year and just destroyed everybody?
Yes.
It feels like it could be that kind of situation for her where she feels like maybe she got robbed last year of this win. And she's also in a bit of a like rough patch of play by her standards. And to come out and win this would like reassert her and probably win her Player of the Year, although I feel like it's less certain given the fact that she's been a little quiet at the majors. But I think it would certainly strengthen her case quite a bit. It would be another win to her name. She might just have too many wins for you to give it to anybody else for Player of the Year. So I think it kind of matters for Kristen more than you might think. I mean, if she doesn't win it, does it really matter that much? Maybe not. But I think that it's a sneaky important tournament for her.
Yeah.
And she's going to feel that way about it, I think.
Agreed. Missy Gannon.
Big Money Missy. I'm going to put her at the 4.
Okay. Of note, I did give you all the Player of the Year contenders
I like
right at the top.
I like it. And I think that Missy would have a case if she wins this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit of a weaker case than the other players already.
Yep.
So is it enough? Maybe not. But, she's won here before. I think it would be very impressive if she won because she didn't really come that close last season. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot of players for whom this course, I think, sets up a little better for them. So I would be super impressed, but I don't think she really needs it.
Okay. Haley King.
Number 5. Like, what does the winning this tournament do for her? Maybe salvages the season a little bit.
Right.
But it doesn't change what I would think of her as a player. Yeah, go ahead.
My thought with Haley, and the reason I included her on this list, she's on another 1-year deal.
Yeah.
She's in the renegotiation period at the end of every offseason, and it feels like it's getting worse, not better.
That's true.
But I think you're going to be happy with this. I put Silva in the spot for you.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I mean, I
think you
I
nailed
rolled the dice,
list.
leaving number 1 open.
You did. I
Silva
thought I was
being
going to
number
get
1
you.
is perfect because obviously, if she wins it, she's like committee member, newly established.
Hi, I'm here. Yeah.
I am the next face of Europe. Like, am I taking over from Kristen?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there'll be all of these conversations if Silva wins, and she doesn't have that big defining victory.
Never
yet.
beat Kristen to get a win.
Right.
Never won with Kristen on the field. That's the way to say it. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I think you killed the list. I thought I was going to get you with the Haley. I was like, man, I'm going to trip him up here.
All right. So that is our blind rankings. Course notes, not much to say. The only thing I will note, hurricane damage. There was an Instagram story from the USDGC. They've pumped 9.5 million gallons of water out of Winthrop Lake. That is unbelievable. 150,000 pounds of mulch have been put down, and 20 dump trucks full of debris have been removed because there were trees damaged and things like that. So, I mean, they have been, and this is all within the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it has been a massive effort. I saw that hole 6, which JP mentioned in the interview, they were a little concerned about when we talked to him last week. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's good to go. They're putting the sand in. They've got the water level down far enough. So great job to all the facilities people for getting the course ready to go. And of course, everybody who's been, dealing with the hurricanes, and another one's coming to Florida. I know, just thinking about everybody in that part of the country, it's really scary. And sometimes the folks in Asheville, how do you even anticipate having a hurricane event like that hit you in that way?
That's crazy.
Really thinking of the disc golf community over there. Somebody texted me and said that basically all of their disc golf courses have been completely destroyed. So Godspeed to the organizers there and to the community for getting the disc golf courses back. But of course, health and safety of your family and friends and the people in the community, the most important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, one last thing. Hole 9.
Yep.
Used to have the mozzarella sticks right off the tee pad.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, take a look. They got the trees now. They have trees and planters that they can move them with a forklift, and they have put tree. It is a much more daunting tee shot now, I think.
Yeah, and those are just so much classier. Great choice. Those
and we also had the Christmas trees, right?
The fake Christmas trees with the spider webs on them.
Webs. So we have real trees and planters.
Yes,
it's still nice. Goofy, but we're moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Picks, Josh.
Okay,
let's rip through these. It's been a long show. FPO, who you got?
Silva Saarinen in the 3. I really do think that the putting, she can play well here, but Kristen Tatar in the 2. She's going to go on the revenge tour, but falls short. Big money Missy. Missy Gannon gets a win here again, and really closes out an excellent season.
Wow.
Here at Throw Pink.
Okay. Missy pick. I like it. I only have one common player on my podium. It's Kristen.
Okay.
In my 3 spot, I have Holland Handley. I think she's going to shred out here again. She could win.
Sure.
She could win.
She plays well. Yeah.
Kristen in my 2. I have Evelina Salonen taking it down. Evelina has been elite at this tournament from tee to green. Elite at avoiding OB. The putting was abysmal last year. 56-0. Okay. Could it happen again? Sure. But she is putting much, much better this year.
She is.
And I think that might be enough for her to win this tournament.
Yep. Great point.
She can shred.
She can.
All right. MPO. So hard. Number 3, despite the recent kind of lack of strong play, I'm putting Nicholas Antela back on the podium.
The USDGC whisperer.
He is a beast here.
Yeah,
and,
he is.
And he has been a beast at the big tournaments in general. Like when the majors come, he was great at Worlds. When the majors come around, he shows up. And I love his game at Winthrop. He may well win. He may well win and get his first major. In the 2 spot, I've got Gannon Burr. How do you not put this guy on your podium right now? Obviously, he's had success here and won this tournament. But I have him going head-to-head in the battle and coming up short to one Ricky Wysocki, who I think is just utterly desperate for this win, has come so close so many times, has looked so good so many years and so many rounds, and then just seemingly failed to close it out. I think this is finally the time he's going to close it out. It's been an awesome year for him. Gannon doesn't need this win. He's not going to want it quite as much, and I think that's just enough for Ricky to have the edge.
I think you're just willing it into existence, Charlie.
Well,
I'll be honest. I'm already looking at my Utah Hockey Club seats. So, my picks. I've only got one in common as well. That's Gannon Burr. He's in the 3 spot. I also, no chalk this week, Charlie. No chalk. I need a lot of points to make up some difference. So Gannon Burr goes in the 3 spot. I had him in the 1, and I changed my mind and decided to pick somebody else. But I have to give Isaac Robinson the 2 spot. Why, might you ask? This is the one I'm actually most confident about. Isaac Robinson, here's his placement finishes at USDGC. 61st, 21st, 15, 8, 6, 3. He's got to go up again, Charlie. He's getting the 2.
In order, right?
In order, yes. That is in order, which means he must go either second or first. I don't think he wins. I give him the 2. My winner, the man who I say...
Nate Doss, he's doing it!
You got me. Turns out I've been a Nate Doss stan the entire time. My winner is the man who I think is more desperate than even that Mr. Ricky Wysocki. The man who insists that he will always beat Father Time and who wants to keep his streak going. Paul Macbeth.
Wow.
Paul gets the win. I would love a Paul Ricky battle. I think that'd be incredible. But I think Paul is not done yet. He loves it here. He plays great here, and he's in form right now. So I give Paul the nod.
Wow. Macbeth. I mean, that would be just an absolutely. I mean, so many of these guys winning would be a huge story.
It would.
Wild stuff. All right. That is going to do it for this edition of the Upshot. We will be back with you live in our Discord for subscribers with our Rapid Reacts following Thursday's round number 1. And that will also be released for everyone to listen to. So you can get a little sneak preview if you want to check out what our Rapid Reacts are like. It's so much fun. And then we'll be doing that every day following rounds. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long. I'm headed to Rock Hill tomorrow. Can't wait to get down there and enjoy the sunshine in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll talk to you Thursday right here on The Upshot.